The Zen Doctor with Dr. Stephen Simpson.
Hi, welcome to episode 16. And in the last episode, we introduced the concept of spirituality and its importance in providing guidance through the labyrinth of life. And in this episode, we're going to go a little deeper because there's no question that people throughout the ages have shared this feeling of being aimless, of lacking direction, and not even knowing in which direction to point. So rather than me try and make some suggestions, I'm going to share with you two role models that have helped me, and I think they can help you too, because they know a lot more about searching for meaning and they express it much better because in their own ways, they have been really, really tested. So back to the studio with some further thoughts in a moment. I mentioned in the last episode that many people feel aimless and lacking direction in their lives and asked in my opinion on how to find meaning. All I usually say is that if the person is in doubt about what they should do, they should follow their passion. How do they spend their discretionary time? Where do they spend their discretionary money? The answers to these questions should produce some clues. Passion is a much overused word. When people describe their jobs and careers, sooner or later they stress how passionate they are about their work. Sometimes it's obvious that indeed they have a huge amount of passion for what they do. However, sometimes it's obvious that they do not. They're not lying, they're just deluding themselves, probably because of what other people think they should believe, or because they are constructing some internal representation of what they think others will respect as an honourable calling. These people are good people, but they're not authentic, and we can all spot a phony from a long way off. For such people, time spent in deep inward reflection or with their coach will be time well spent. There are times when we all need help to identify the difference between what we think we believe in and what we truly believe in. If you're in any doubt about the importance of spirituality, I'll share two inspirational stories of people who faced almost certain death and survived the most appalling physical and mental stresses. The first example is known as the Stockdale Paradox. James Stockdale was an American naval commander during the Vietnam War and held prisoner in appalling conditions for over 7 years. The author James Collins interviewed Stockdale at length whilst writing his book, Good to Great. He asked Stockdale if he could tell the difference between those who were able to survive their dreadful conditions and those who could not. Who were they? He said, "Oh, that's easy. The optimists. Oh, they were the ones who said, we're going to be out by Christmas." And Christmas would come and Christmas would go. Then they'd say, we're going to be out by Easter. And Easter would come and Easter would go. And then Thanksgiving, and then it would be Christmas again. And they died of a broken heart. This quotation resonates strongly with me because in the world of self-development, positive thinking is a much overused word and, in my view, a fairly useless strategy. A far more helpful interpretation of positivity has come to be known as the Stockdale Paradox, and this is how Stockdale described it. This is a very important lesson, he said. You must never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end, which you can never afford to lose, with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever they might be. In other words, he was saying to avoid the self-delusion trap, but to never lose your guiding compass. Now I'm going to mention one of the most inspirational books that I've read. For years, many people had encouraged me to read it, and for one reason or another, I never got around to it until very recently, and I deeply regret the delay, but perhaps I wasn't ready for it then. Anyway, the book is called Man's Search for Meaning and was written by Viktor Frankl. He was an Australian psychiatrist who survived 3 years in the concentration camp death camps, and during this time he lost his whole family. His survival was a miracle, and the fact that he used these experiences in his later life to establish his psychotherapeutic practice and created the school he called logotherapy is even more incredible. This extract from his book expresses his thoughts exponentially more powerfully than I could possibly be able to do. He wrote, "Human existence, at least as long as it has not been neurotically distorted, is always directed to something or someone other than itself, be it a meaning to fulfill or another human being to encounter lovingly. For man is originally characterized by his search for meaning rather than his search for himself. The more he forgets himself, giving himself to a cause or another person, the more human he is. And the more he's immersed and absorbed in something or someone other than himself, the more he really becomes himself." There you have it, in his words. Peak performance as part of the Zen mind state also requires recognizing reality from its surrounding delusions and in harnessing the vast power of the unconscious mind to create the impossible. The key is to find this sweet spot where mind, body and soul meet in total harmony. This will be a tough challenge, but the good news is that near enough is usually more than good enough, because we were not designed to be perfect. I doubt we ever will be, and nor do I think that we need to be. Once again, there's plenty to think about in this episode, and some of it is far from pleasant listening. To end on a happier note, I think there's a very good chance you'll enjoy the next episode a lot, and it just might change your life. It certainly changed mine, and so I will do my very best to explain how it has and why it works. The episode is about one of my favourite words, synchronicity. In the meantime, continue to follow your passion, and I doubt you'll go far wrong.
If you have enjoyed the Zen Doctor with Dr. Stephen Simpson, then why not hit the subscribe button? The music, The Soul of the Shaman, was specially composed for the Zen Doctor.
To find out more, go to drstephensimpson.com.